Good morning, SpeedGaming fans. We've got a 100% race this morning for you. I guess this afternoon if you're in Europe. Between the legendary Hotarubi and the equally as legendary Kekumanshoyu. My name is Christoflo, and I will be commentating this race for you, solo this time. So I hope you're all having a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Just waiting for the racers to ready up in SRL right now, but we should be getting underway here very shortly. And it looks like the runners are off, just getting the... Oh, actually, they're off in the SRL channel, so we're just waiting for the restream. Hotarubi doing just a little bit of practice there. Jumping around in Series Station. Showing off. And it looks like they're off now. Kekumanshoyu is starting us off. We'll get those streams synced up momentarily. But the runners will be starting off in Sirius Station. Every run starts here. Fastest way to get through here is just run through it. And then get hit by Ridley a whole bunch. Get your health down to 30. And then the fight's over. And then you have to escape. It's not a lot going on here. There is a little bit of movement tech here and there where the runners will be pumping their arms up and down to not only show their enthusiasm for the game, but also because it moves Samus ever so slightly faster. So they'll stand by Ridley's tail to take 15 damage every hit. And that's the fastest way to get through the fight, get hit 5 times. Now they're making their way out of Sirius Station. Trying not to hit the steam. Doesn't actually cause any damage, but it'll give you a few moments of damage frames, which is slow. Ooh, Kekumanshoyu just taking a little bit of a hit there and falling down. Would have been a 46 Series Station, which is a really good time, but slightly unfortunate. So Hotarubi is very slightly ahead by about 2 seconds. But I mean, this is a 100% race, so we got about an hour and a half to go. So yeah, the goal of this race here: collect 100% of the items and then defeat the Mother Brain. Don't save the animals. It's very important to not save the animals. So this is part of the 100% tournament going on SpeedGaming right now. This is our round of 2, second round. Just a little bit of background on the runners. Both of these guys have been playing the game for a very long time. Kekumanshoyu he's been playing since before I've been playing. And Hotarubi has been playing this game since the dawn of time. Hotarubi, I believe, had world record for this game a long time ago. I want to say around 2008. Definitely legendary in this community, innovative, coming up with lots of very interesting strategies. Kekumanshoyu has also just been playing for a long time, very active in the community. Just an all-around good guy as well. They'll be picking up the Morph Ball right now. Somehow, Kekumanshoyu took the lead. I didn't see if the runners elected to go for Moonfall, but I would reckon that Kekumanshoyu hit the Moonfall there, saving him a few seconds. So they'll be heading towards the first missile pack. Hotarubi in speedrun.com has a personal best of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 34 seconds, but I don't think that's accurate because I think I've seen him go faster in a race. Keku with a 1 hour, 24 minutes, 20 seconds, which I also don't think is accurate because I think these guys have gone faster than that. Nevertheless, these two runners fairly evenly matched. You'll see these runners now going through the climb. There's two strategies to go through here. You can either wall jump on the right-hand side, or you can jump up on the platforms. It's generally agreed that jumping up in the platforms is a little bit safer, a little bit easier, but if you're going for a little bit of style and a little bit, you're going for the gutsy moves, you can jump up along the right-hand side like Hotarubi's doing. Climb notoriously frustrating, very easy to accidentally fall down, and it's a big reset point in runs. One mistake there can cost you a few seconds, but these runners getting through it no problem, and they'll be heading towards Bomb Chorizo. This is the first mini-boss of the game. The basic strategy here is to shoot him 5 times with your beam, and then pick up some missile drops from the projectiles that he shoots, and try to hit him with 7 missiles. That is the fastest way this fight can be over. Yeah, and Kekumanshoyu showing us that this fight is not actually that hard. Hotarubi doing the exact same thing. Neither of the runners taking damage. Very quick fight. And now Kekumanshoyu will be going for the Alcatraz strategy. Typically, you want to wall jump and morph at the last second up there. It's a fairly difficult strategy to get, and we see Hotarubi actually missing it the first try. One of the first sort of speed tech strategies that you learn, but it is still very difficult. The intended way, however, is to bomb through the right-hand side of that passageway, which is much slower. And they'll be grabbing the Terminator E-Tank next. Kekumanshoyu with a little bit of lead at the start here. So we'll see how this goes. I know both of these runners are fairly consistent. I've seen some pretty crazy strategies coming from Hotarubi, coming out of retirement for this tournament here. I'm always interested in seeing what he's got going for him, because a lot of his strategies are fairly unconventional and always exciting. Kekumanshoyu getting the Mock Ball. This is the first sequence break of the game, just ducking under those speed gates there. And he'll be picking up super missiles. This allows the runners to skip Spore Spawn. Going for a little bit of a damage boost there, not getting it unfortunately. We'll see Hotarubi going for the same thing. This damage boost, if you have this frame that Hotarubi is on, you can just hold right and jump, and you will damage boost every time. So you can actually buffer it. And they'll be picking up, this is the first deviation from the any % route, they'll be grabbing these 2 missile packs plus the reserve tank. And they'll also be grabbing the missile pack under the bridge in the previous room. We'll see kekumanshoyu going for the reverse mock ball, the return trip mock ball, and getting it. That's a very difficult mock ball to get. There's a very tight timing window, and you don't get a second chance for it, is the problem with it. If you want to try for it again, you have to go through the door again and reload to the other room, which is very slow. So hotarubi will be going for the backup, which is going all the way around the top part of the room again and quick falling through the crumble blocks. Yeah, and he gets the quick fall and manages to jump back up, no problem. They'll be grabbing Charge Beam next. Oh, it looks like kekumanshoyu is skipping that missile pack. Just kidding. That's a missile pack that you pick up later on in the run anyways. It's slower to pick it up here. We come through this room again later on, and it's just faster to pick it up later. There's no reason not to get it later, and there's no reason to get it now, but the time save is very, very marginal. However, the runners want to optimize every second of the run in order to stay competitive. Kekumanshoyu with a nice little damage boost there. Meanwhile, hotarubi getting the mock ball through Green Hill Zone. And they'll be making their way down to Red Tower. Kekumanshoyu, I think, has to be a little bit careful with his health here. I think there's a couple more damage boosts he wants to do, but he's going to have to be very careful with them. There's not a lot of danger in 100%, just because you're getting every single item. So you have so many energy tanks, it's hard to die. But there are points in the start of the run where it is possible to die if you're not careful, if you're not managing your health very well. So he's got to be a little bit cautious. hotarubi, same thing, but he's got 10 extra energy, giving him just a slight advantage over kekumanshoyu. Both runners grabbing the Spazer Beam. And hopefully we'll see Keku going for the fast strategy into Kraid's Lair. Yep, he's going for the shoots 3 super missiles and just try to dash through there. hotarubi going for the same thing and getting it. Kekumanshoyu with a little bit of a misstep there, unfortunately, causing him to have to jump all the way back up and go for a wall jump, but hotarubi can just jump straight through, so that evens it up a little bit. Kekumanshoyu getting a little bit of health there, so he can afford to be a little bit more risky here. hotarubi actually taking another hit there, so he's got to be careful. They've actually got to watch out for Mini Kraid here. If you miss him and run straight into him, it's 100 damage and you die, so you don't want to do that. But these runners know what they're doing. hotarubi probably wants to avoid this damage boost, yeah, and he's careful. He knows his health is low. He doesn't want to take any hits. If his health is below 30 when he defeats Kraid, he will get health bombed, meaning he won't get any ammo drops, and that is very, very bad. These runners will be going for the Kraid quick kill. It looks like they'll be doing the 2 missile, 3 super missile setup. Ooh! Kekumanshoyu, again, with a little bit of a misstep here. Oh, and he's got the Kraid stand-up glitch, as we refer to it. The very rarely seen second phase of the fight. Meanwhile, hotarubi pulling ahead with a nice, clean, quick kill, locking Kraid's jaw in place, and firing 3 super missiles into his face, killing him. Kekumanshoyu wrapping it up, though, fairly quickly. I always say this fight is legitimately quite difficult. Nobody practices the second phase of the Kraid fight, because why would you? It's slow. You want to get the Kraid quick kill every time, but unfortunately, it's hard to get the Kraid quick kill every time. So this gives hotarubi a little bit of a lead here, but there's plenty of opportunities for Keku to bridge that gap. Next, they will be heading towards Upper Norfair, picking up some items, and we'll see where they go from there, because there's actually two very popular routes for this game, for the 100% category, the two major routes that you can take. The first is, well, I would say the easier route is taking Grapple Beam early and killing Crocomire in your first trip into Norfair. This allows you to pick up Ice Beam later on. It allows you to go for a lot of intended strategies, and there's no funny business with that route. However, I know kekumanshoyu goes for the late Crocomire route, where he will be picking up Grapple Beam later on, and he will be picking up Ice Beam early, which requires him to do a clip through the wall later on when he wants to pick up Spring Ball. I was talking to kekumanshoyu a long time ago, and when he said he was learning this category, one of the things he said was he thought that the only route that you could take was the late Crocomire route, and that's the route that he learned. So it seems, unless anything's changed the past couple of years, I think this is the only route that he's run. So he's got a lot of practice with it. I don't know which route Hotarubi takes, however, so we'll see where the differences come in. Hotarubi heading up Business Center now. Heading through Cathedral. Hopefully he picks up this missile pack. Getting a nice little mock ball off the pillar there. Yeah, and he gets the missile pack. This is one that runners tend to miss, especially if you're not familiar with the category. It's very out of the way. It's very awkward to get to. It takes a while. kekumanshoyu also grabbing the Cathedral missiles. And Hotarubi in the Bubble Mountain area, so he'll be doing a nice little wall jump there, and making sure he doesn't get hit by the Cack Attack and the Waver at the top of the mountain there, so it doesn't break his fall, or break his jump rather, and allows him to just cleanly get up there, skipping all of those rooms that he would be required to go around. So another nice little sequence break. Something that you see a lot of in these 100% routes. Not a tremendously difficult trick. kekumanshoyu getting hit, but not falling down, so that's very fortunate for him. Ooh, Keku falling into the lava, so that's going to cost him another couple seconds here. Hotarubi farming a little bit. I don't think he needs to there, so that's probably just a little bit of muscle memory. It's good to have 5 super missiles going out of this segment here. You only really need 2, though, because there's only 1 green door, I believe. But you also want some super missiles to fight Crocomire for the fastest strategy here. So Keku will probably be doing a little bit of farming on his way out. Hotarubi will probably be using another super missile to open this wave door here. Yeah, Keku, wow, what incredible luck for Keku, getting 3 super missiles off the farm there. Very fortunate. So nice little high five from the runners, showing sportsmanship. Hotarubi now will be heading towards either Crocomire, or he'll be heading towards Wrecked Ship, depending on the route. And Hotarubi getting another very lucky super missile drop. Yeah, and he's going to be going for new route. So actually, I had to take this back. I don't actually know the super count that they need for this route. I'm personally a early Crocomire runner. So I'm not sure what kind of super count they need for this part of the game. So this is something that the runners should pay attention to. In 100%, you typically don't need to worry about your health or your ammo, except at the very start of the game. And this is one of those points where they really need to pay attention to it. They need to manage their super missiles, just to make sure that they have enough to get through these parts. Keku getting a super missile drop there, so both of these runners getting very lucky with their super drops. Hotarubi picking up the ice beam, and it looks like these runners will be taking the same route, so it'll be easy to compare who is ahead. With route divergences, it's a little bit more difficult, but since these runners do the same route, it looks like it'll be pretty easy to compare who is ahead. Keku with a nice little speedy ball there. And another nice high five from the runners. More super drops for Keku. That's very lucky. Hotarubi going for the Alpha Spark. And he'll be making his way back up Red Tower, making use of that ice beam. Freezing the Ripper in place and allows him to just jump up a little bit faster. And he'll be making his way up here. One of the things that's nice about this route is that you don't actually have to do the hero shot, it's called, in the room that Hotarubi's in. You don't have to follow the beam straight up and then hope it hits the block at the very end. You can actually just go the intended way and freeze the Rippers on your way up. So while, generally speaking, the early Crocodile route is a little bit more consistent, a little bit easier, there are some advantages to doing the route that these two runners are taking right now. Also, because it's faster. Hotarubi picking up the Alpha Power Bombs. Now Keku making his way up the Red Tower. A little bit of a misstep, unfortunately. Taking a little bit of damage from the Rippers. But now making his way through the Heckway. Another high five from the runners. This is pretty close. Ooh, nice little speed keep from Hotarubi. What a strategy. Wow. That's a tricky little strategy to get rid of those side hoppers. Typically, you can get rid of them with 2 hits from a power bomb. You can hit them with the same power bomb if you keep them on screen. But it is faster to use the speed booster for that. Oh, Keku landing in the Vile Plume. Not getting Vile Plumed, but unfortunately landing in it again. And then getting Vile Plumed. Landing just on the right-hand side there, so he avoided the enemy, but fell on it again, which is unfortunate. We'll see these runners coming up on the wreck ship now. You know, wreck ship, it's one of those areas where there's a lot of variance. Runners can gain or lose time randomly. Fantoon's a hard boss, and between the best RNG and the worst RNG in a Fantoon fight, even if you play perfectly, there's a 20-second difference. So if Keku gets lucky and plays well, and Hotarubi gets unlucky, this race could be perfectly even again. Hotarubi going for the Shine Spark across. Obviously, it's what he has to do in this case because he does not have Grapple Beam. I would say he has to watch his health, though. Going into Fantoon with 131 energy plus whatever is in his reserves is a little bit. He's got to be a little bit careful here. These runners will likely be using the Doppler strategy to fight Fantoon, using just missiles and super missiles. Fantoon has 2,500 energy, or sorry, 2,500 health. Each missile does 100 damage, and each super missile will do 600 damage to Fantoon. So the strategy here is they want to shoot 19 missiles plus 1 super missile to finish it off. If they fire the super missile too early, then Fantoon will enrage and cost them 18 seconds. Something they would like to avoid. Nice little Shine Spark from Keku. Hotarubi, unfortunately, getting hit by a slow pattern from Fantoon, so he's going to be waiting the whole 11 seconds for Fantoon to open up his eye here. Typically, your perfect Fantoon, you want to finish this fight in 2 rounds. Unfortunately, Hotarubi did not fire enough missiles to get the ideal 2-round fight here, and unfortunately getting another slow pattern. So this is definitely going to give Keku an opportunity to catch up. There's some finesse in the way that you hit Fantoon with with just missiles here, because you want to run towards him as you are shooting them, and that way you will have more missiles connecting with him simultaneously. This is what we call a Doppler strategy, and this means that he has less opportunity to disappear because he's consumed by the damage frames instead. So a 4-round Fantoon fight from Hotarubi. So this gives Keku an opportunity to catch up. Nevertheless, Hotarubi managing his health very well in this fight. However, he is upcoming the next boss in the game, the Spiky Room of Death, where if he gets hit by a spike platform, it will deal 100 damage to him. Oh, and he gets some health drops, so he doesn't have to be too worried about this. Keku getting a slow pattern here. Nice little strategy from Hotarubi there, getting through that room. Not using a power bomb, so it allows him to build up speed for a mock ball going into that morph ball passage there. Keku having a little bit of trouble with item selection. I swear, this is the hardest part of the game. Unfortunately, Fantoon not giving him a break, so this will be a 4-round Fantoon fight from Keku. These runners having comparable Fantoon fights, both getting very bad luck in terms of patterns and in their Doppler hits. But Keku wrapping it up right now, so Hotarubi does have a fairly sizable lead, but he's definitely got to be careful going into this next segment here that he doesn't get hit by the spiky platform. He's going for a risky strategy here with a bounce ball. Gets hit by the spike platform, but makes it through no problem. If he had less than 100 energy, that strategy would have killed him. So he's definitely aware of his health. And this is what I like about Hotarubi, just thinking on the fly, coming up with innovative strats. And a very risky jump there from Hotarubi. He doesn't have grapple beam, so he has to do a clever little bomb jump to get across this gap here, or he could turn off high jump, but it is slower to menu and then turn off high jump, then turn it on again. Hotarubi making his way through the Spiky Room of Death. There's really no point where the runners can die at this point in the run. Keku's got to make it through the Spiky Room, of course, but it's very rare for a runner to die afterwards. However, we have seen it in this tournament so far. There are some unfortunate points where a runner can get soft locked, or they can get hit by some unfortunate chain damage in Mother Brain or in Dragon. We've seen that in previous races. Keku versus Professor School, actually, spoiler alert, Keku actually did win his previous race. But because of both runners actually taking deaths in that race. Not something you see often in 100%. Hotarubi wants to manage his health a little bit carefully here. Keku's got to be really careful in the Spiky Room of Death here, just taking a little bit of extra damage. Yeah, so Keku making it through, no problem. But Hotarubi, he wants to manage his health a little. He wants to make sure that he has enough health to avoid stopping at the ship in Criteria, which will save him time. Oh, Keku falling into the spikes. That's not good. That's going to cost him some time. Yeah, and Hotarubi making his way back through the attic. We saw a nice little speed keep from Hotarubi through this room earlier. This room here, the attic, it's tough to do well, and it's tough not to lose a ton of energy in it. So just making it through that room quickly is always a good thing. Lets the runners breathe a little sigh of relief there. So Keku grabbing the E-tank. So there should really be no points at which the run can be dangerous for him at this point. Going for the damage boost, but unfortunately turning a little bit too early when he gets hit by that spark. Having a little bit of trouble in the reverse spiky room there. And Hotarubi having a chance to take a breath as the bowling chorizo carries him through the bowling alley. Keku trying to clip through the worker robots here. I find this strategy, it's really inconsistent. It's a hard one to get, to be totally honest. He's having a little bit of trouble. You want to take damage here, and you know, it's just it's an inconsistent strategy. It's difficult to get every time. And if you're not careful with it, you'll lose a lot of health as you're doing it. But it is technically faster if you can get it perfectly. His health is going to be low. I think these runners will both have to take a stop at the ship in Criteria. Hotarubi with a fairly sizable lead at this point, but unfortunately getting an unfortunate Shine Spark. He's making his way up there, wall jumping, and then Shine Sparking, maybe to preserve his energy. Maybe he thinks that he can make this Criteria Spark without stopping at the ship. Maybe he has enough in his reserves. So that would save him 14 seconds if he can avoid that ship trip. I'm not sure he can, though, with his energy. It's going to be close. I think his reserves have to be nearly or full in order to get this the wraparound spark in the Criteria ship room. Going for a moonfall through the door transition. That one's a spicy little moonfall. And a nice little speedy ball there from Hotarubi going into these missiles underneath the wrecked ship entrance. And a mock ball on the way back. Keku, I believe he's going for the worker robot flushing strategy. I don't know what to call it. But trying to manipulate the position of the worker robots while he's above the room using the wave beam to hit them from above. And hopefully, if he gets it properly, the worker robots will be in their... They'll have fallen into their little holes before he actually goes down there. Hotarubi, now I see what he's doing. He's conserving his energy. Instead of going for the Shine Spark straight up there, he decided to jump up the geometry in that room. Wow, Keku getting one of the worker robots, not the other. Yeah, and so Hotarubi just preserving his energy just a little bit so that he has enough energy for this Criteria wraparound spark coming up here. And he's going to be firing a charge shot in a specific position, and this is just a magic trick here. It's he's opening the door from the other side. Unfortunately, he missed the short charge, so he's not going to have the Shine Spark. He's going to have to do a short charge on this little platform here. This one's not easy. You don't have a lot of space for it. He gets a third try, so that's not a big time loss. Keku running out of power bombs. Hotarubi landing in the exact position he wants, giving him a little bit of space to run forwards and build up some acceleration into this room. He wants to go for a Shine Spark here, but he only gets one shot at it, and if you don't get it, it's not a big deal. So now he has full energy again. Going for some damage boosts through the gauntlet. And he'll be grabbing these gauntlet missiles. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you stand on in the center of these crumble blocks. Otherwise, you'll fall down one side and be unable to grab the other missile pack, having to go back. Keku getting the Lake Mock Ball, that's a nice one. So he's going to be making up time over here against hotarubi. He's stopping at the ship, however, so any advantage that he had with that lake ball is unfortunately lost with this 14-second delay stopping at the ship. However, it's what he has to do in order to make sure he has enough health for that Criteria wraparound spark. A very, very nice mock ball from hotarubi going through the Kego room there. Gotta hold charge and let go as you're falling through the air and then morph. Very, very difficult. Very good looking strategy. This also fixes Keku's problem of not having any power bombs, so I think that was a good move all around. A nice moonfall from hotarubi going through the Brinstar shaft. Two nice moonfalls, actually. And he'll be making his way down, grabbing these super missiles. Keku, I think he missed the wraparound shot. Oh, no, he got it. No problems there. And hotarubi making his way through the damage boost tutorial room, unfortunately taking a fall there. It's not a big deal, though. And then he's going to skip the Etakuns. They're not going to teach him how to wall jump today. He already knows. He's making his way up, grabbing these power bombs and Brinstar. Keku making sure, lining up for the gauntlet. Oh no! And we saw what hotarubi was able to get Keku, unfortunately, falling down only one side of the gauntlet, the crumble blocks reforming. So if he wants those missile packs, which he does, because this is 100%, he's going to have to go and get them on the way back. At the very end, that's going to be the last missile pack he picks up after the 230 missiles, which unfortunately for this run will be the 225 missiles for Keku. hotarubi, he's going to be going for the Mission Impossible, and this at this point here, when you see this screen, he can just hold right and hold jump, and then he'll jump straight into that the escape there. So you can actually buffer that strategy. It looks impressive, and it is impressive, but it's easier than you would think. Keku going for a nice little moonfall as well. Unfortunately, getting caught a little bit too early, but he gets the second moonfall. hotarubi going through the wave gate E-tank room. Picking up some more super missiles. hotarubi with a fairly sizable lead, and with the fact that Keku now has to pick up the gauntlet missiles later on, his lead is actually pretty commanding at this point. hotarubi finally grabbing the Spore Spawn missiles, requiring a very precise setup in order to scroll the screen to make sure the super missile block is loaded in order to hit it from that part of the room. You can't just run to the right with that one, unfortunately, and you can't just shoot it touching the wall. You gotta you gotta scroll the screen in a certain way, otherwise the super missile block will not be loaded in memory. But getting it first try is very nice. And he'll be going through the waterway next. And he's grabbing those missiles that we talked about earlier. The ones that you pick up in any percent first thing. Picking them up now because it's the optimal time to do it, waiting for the power bomb to go off. Very slight time save. Keku getting a nice little shine spark here. Laying the power bomb and then going straight up. So these runners will just be doing some item collection here. This is one of the points in the run where, if you're not careful, you can start just hemorrhaging time everywhere. You got to be going through these rooms very carefully. Going for the obviously you want to go for the fast strategies, but if you get caught in the geometry, it will cost you a lot of time. This is one of those points in the game where you're running through the game and you feel like you're losing time for no reason. But Hotarubi making his way out. He's heading through Green Hill Zone again, dropping that power bomb early to open up that door in the top right-hand corner of the room, so that he doesn't have to open it up later on. Next, he'll be heading towards Maridia. You know, I talk about this this section of the game a lot, and I say it's one of the worst in 100%. It's hard to get through Maridia. There's a lot of rooms that there's no easy or fast strategy for, and there's so many spots where it's just very easy to get caught in the geometry and slow you down. So you have to be practiced in order to get through Maridia very quickly. A very nice damage boost from Hotarubi. And Keku grabbing those Spore Spawn missiles, super missiles, excuse me. One of the first things we'll see Hotarubi go for will be the Main Street missiles. The only item in the game that requires you to use a Shine Spark. He'll be going for the very short charge there, getting it first try, jumping up, and lining up perfectly. That's a tough one. You're actually expected in the, if you're playing this casually, you have to go into another room, charge a Shine Spark, and then line it up perfectly in this room in order to get that Main Street missile pack. But Hotarubi going for the short charge there. Very precise. Now he's going to be grabbing the Mama Turtle E-Tank. And at this point here, we're going to start seeing the runners. They're going to be going for some interesting strategies here that you wouldn't necessarily see if the runners had grapple beam. I'll talk about that more later on, but here in the Mama Turtle E-Tank room, it's better to have grapple in case you accidentally misalign that Shine Spark and hit it too early or too late, and that way you can use grapple to back up and just use that grapple block to grab the energy tank the intended way. So it's a little bit more risky when you don't have grapple beam in this part of the game. Not a big deal though for these runners. So Hotarubi will be heading up towards the watering hole, unfortunately missing that last wall jump there, so he's got to jump all the way back up. That crab, if you hit it, of course, will break your spin, meaning you can't wall jump anymore. So he took some steps to avoid it, but unfortunately, breaking spin just a little bit too early. Now he'll be going through my least favorite room in the entire game. There is a worst room in the game in any percent. I would say this one is the worst room in the game in 100%. There's really no fast way to do it. It's very easy to get caught in the geometry in this room. Ooh, Keku getting a very nice short charge there as well. And now Keku making his way through the fish tank. Yeah, we see Hotarubi struggling to get through this room quickly. Oh, nice little damage boost, though. Again, this is what I like about Hotarubi, thinking on the fly, going for these nice little damage boosts. Hotarubi is just so knowledgeable about the game, and has been innovating strategies for so long. I mean, every time you watch him do a run, there's always something new to learn. Oh, unfortunately missing the item selection, and shooting that door with just a regular missile. It needed to be a super missile, so that's going to cost him a second or two. And he'll be heading towards Botsmoon. Keku making his way back through the fish tank. Hotarubi now entering the Botsmoon room. Ideally, he wants to go for an X Factor, and then 6 super missile shots, getting the decalled X Factor strategy here. That one to me looks like magic. It's hard to set up. Some people say it's easier. I don't think so. I think you people, come on. It looks so hard. And Hotarubi going to be going for probably the full halfie here. Just shine sparking his way over the Coliseum. That's what he wants. Oh, and just barely missing the jump. Oh, but he's okay. Getting the regular halfie. And going for a nice little damage boost back up off those spikes. That's a nice one. Grabbing the precious missiles. And Hotarubi will be fighting Dragon next. Dragon, you see him at any percent, and the strategy for 100% is the exact same if you are going for this route. The runners, without having Grapple Beam, will actually have to do this fight with Shine Sparks and X Factors and whatever they can. However, if you go for the early grapple route, you can just grapple Dragon to death. Let her grab you, and then stick your Grapple Beam in an outlet and zap her to death. Very easy to do. Hotarubi, not one for the easy strategies, though. Going for the more challenging Shine Spark method. This will also allow him to get a blue suit at the end of the fight, which lets him go for the reverse halfie. Beautiful fight from Hotarubi. Very, very nicely done. He'll be going for Spike Suit next. Not getting it, unfortunately, but blue suit is plenty. A 2-round Dragon from Hotarubi. Very, very impressive. Meanwhile, Keku in the Botswoon fight, I believe he's also going for the decalled X Factor. There he goes, gets it, nicely done. And a 1-round Botswoon from Keku, so that's going to make up a bit of time for him. Ooh, Hotarubi. Unfortunately, sparking a little bit too low on the reverse halfie. It's going to cost him a bit of time. Keku, I don't think he's going to make this full halfie here. I think he's... Oh! Just a regular halfie from Keku. Having a little bit of trouble in the Coliseum, but managing to get a D-boost onto the other set of spikes there, which lets him set up for another nice little jump. Hotarubi taking a damage boost on his way down into those sand pits, carrying it all the way into the next room, and getting a short charge. Oh, unfortunately missing the Mock Ball. He's going to get another chance at that one, though, when he comes through this the second time. I find that strategy a little bit risky, to be totally honest. If you are not fast enough, you don't have enough momentum when you jump, it is actually possible to soft lock between the two speed booster blocks. Hotarubi, with his lead here, I mean, going for the risky strategies. I would expect nothing less, but it is risky. He's got to be careful. Keku also going for the same strategy for Dragon. Let's see how he does. Dragon not giving him as good RNG, unfortunately. Doing a few swoops here and there. That's not what you want to see. But finishing up the fight, no problem. That's a fast Dragon, and he also has the blue suit. Now we see Hotarubi in the pants room, and that trick that you saw, him clipping through the wall with Ice Beam there, that's what makes this whole route possible. If he did not have Ice Beam and wasn't able to do that clip, he would have to use Grapple Beam to break the crumble blocking the previous room, well, the previous part of the room. It's the same room, and jump up all the way around. So getting that first try, great time save. Not one for waiting around. Hotarubi, hanging out with Shaq Tool, firing some missiles into the wall in frustration, perhaps, or excitement. Don't know. Have to ask him later. Keku having a little bit of trouble in the Coliseum, heading back. And Hotarubi will be picking up the Spring Ball. Spring Ball, a really nice item in 100%, well, in any category, really. Allows for some really nice strategies. When you are using Spring Ball, it actually allows you to preserve your momentum with jumping in Morph. So there's some interesting physics behind it, that, and it provides for some really interesting strategies that you don't see in a lot of other categories. Keku, he's going to be picking up those aqueduct missiles later on the second pass through this room. Hotarubi going to be making his way up to Plasma Beam, heading up the toilet. And Keku, yeah, you saw him turning on Ice and Spazer again. He needs that Ice Beam on for the Ice Clip into the Spring Ball. Ooh. So nearly 50 minutes into the run, Hotarubi still with a fairly commanding lead. There are still a few points where Hotarubi can lose a lot of time in the run, however, so he's got to be careful. Major points where he could lose time are the Golden Chorizo room if he falls through the combo blocks before picking up the missile pack. Keku having a little trouble with the setup on the ice clip there, so that's a bit unfortunate. He has to reload the room. This setup, you know, it's not free. It's tough, but he gets it the second try. Another big point where the runners could lose time is on the Metroid skip, or perhaps on the Mother Brain fight if they're not careful with the standoff glitch. I mean, we did see in a race this week, one of the runners actually died to chain damage on Mother Brain 1. As chat rightly points out, Keku does have to do Gauntlet again, so even though there are points that he can make up time here, and Hotarubi could lose time, Keku is unfortunately quite behind here. Hotarubi going for this blue suit thing strategy, unfortunately missing it the second try, so he'll just be going for the short charge, a very acceptable alternative. I like that alternative better than going for the blue suit there, because there is zero opportunity to soft lock. So Hotarubi going to be finishing up his Maridia cleanup with these last two items in the sand pits here. And then he'll be heading towards Lower Norfair. But first, he'll hopefully pick up the Kraid missiles, one of the items that runners also tend to forget in 100% speedruns. Now Keku going to be picking up his Plasma Beam, heading to the Cassius room. A nice Cassius room strategy here, actually. Ooh, Hotarubi missing that super missile in the green gate. That's a little bit unfortunate. Not a big time loss, though, and his super missile count is looking very good. I think he wants to save a few, just for the Ridley fight, and then maybe for the Mother Brain, or Metroids and Tourian. Keku making his way through Kakutek Alley. A nice mock ball from Hotarubi heading through Grid's Lair again. It's a good thing Keku grabbed this E-Tank on his third pass through. You have 3 opportunities to grab that one. Ooh, a nice little speed booster strategy from Hotarubi. It's very difficult to preserve your momentum through this room. It's very easy to get caught in the geometry, so a very nice strategy from Hotarubi there. And getting the chronic deboost, making his way into lower Norfair, entering the Dragon. Hotarubi should be going for the blue fireball here. Ooh, unfortunately, dropping his speed at the last jump. Not a big time loss. As he makes his way through into the lavatory, flushing the acid down through the room, jumping into the arms of this weird bird here. And this is another point where Hotarubi actually has to be a little bit careful here. If he falls through the crumble blocks in the next room, he's going to have to go all the way around. So you got to be careful here. You can go for spring ball. Oh, Hotarubi! Oh no! So that's going to be a huge time loss for Hotarubi. That's really not good. He's gonna have to go all the way around again and pick up those missile packs. That missile pack there. I want to say that's at least a minute time loss. This gives Keku an opportunity to catch up. However, I think Hotarubi still is ahead, especially because Keku still has to pick up those gauntlet missiles. Typically, if you use Spring Ball going through the Golden Chorizo room there and just hold the jump button, you will just jump through every single time. You'll never miss it. So that's what I do. I like playing it safe. But Hotarubi, not one for playing it safe. Going for the risky strategies, usually paying off, but this time, having some trouble. But the nice thing about this is we'll see another opportunity for the blue fireball. And he gets it this time. If Hotarubi goes for the risky strategies again. No, just going for spring ball. Nice choice. You don't want to fail that one twice. He'll be going for the short charge in this room. Going for what we call fast pillars, because you go fast through the pillars. Oh, unfortunately, Shine Sparking just a little bit too low, so he's going to have to go for a screw attack strategy through this room here. He's making his way through the worst room in the game. Not so bad in 100% because screw attack makes it really easy. Keku should be going for the blue fireball as well. Hotarubi in the generic mouse missiles room. And Keku mostly getting the strategy there, so jumping slightly too early, I want to say, or late. So not quite making it to the platform there, but he's able to just jump up no problem, so not a real time loss for him. He's going to be draining the room from the lavatory. Some nice strategies from Hotarubi there. You can actually run through those key counters just shooting a singular plasma shot and then clipping through them. But Hotarubi, he's playing it a little bit safe here. I'm sure he's thinking that he doesn't want to make a mistake like the Golden Chorizo missiles again. Picking up the power bombs of shame. We see Keku making quick work of Golden Chorizo. I mean, 100% is a category, well, one of the few categories where you actually fight this boss. But if you stand right there, where Keku is standing, and aim up, you can hit him with 2 beam shots every time. Very much trivializing the fight. Oh, really nice spring ball strategy from Hotarubi. Wow. This is what I was talking about with preserving your momentum with spring ball. That's very, very impressive. Keku going for fast pillars, so another opportunity to make up a bit of time against Hotarubi, but Hotarubi in the Ridley fight. This is not a fight that's particularly difficult in 100%, simply because you have so many energy tanks. You're not really at risk of dying. However, Ridley's hitbox is a little bit ugly, and his tail can block your shots. He can grab you, which is slow. And at the very end, you want him to grab you like Hotarubi just showed us, so making the fight look pretty easy. He'll be making his way back through lower Norfair. Should see a high five coming up for these runners very soon. So I'm using Spring Ball again to clip through those platforms. And a nice little damage boost going through the wasteland there that allows him to get the speed ball through the bomb blocks there, because he can just clip through the side hopper, this Giga, I believe they're called. And we saw another high five from those runners there, so that's nice. Keku picking up the power bombs of shame. And Hotarubi setting up for a nice little damage boost. A nice grouping strategy from Keku there on the Metal Pirates, so that's pretty impressive. And yeah, Hotarubi getting the damage boost and jumping onto the frozen Fire Flea that he froze earlier. Nice little setup. And in this next room, we're going to see what we call, hopefully, the Hotarubi special. Yeah, and he gets it. Missed the missile pack, so he does have to go back, but he was able to break the blocks with using the speed booster there. I believe Hotarubi perfected that strategy in as early as 2008. Something, he's been doing that one for a long time. One of the earliest speed tech strategies for this game. Like I said, Hotarubi, absolute innovator, absolute legend at speedrunning Super Metroid. Keku believes that Ridley is dead, so I'm trying to jump into his talons there. Unfortunately, I think Ridley needs another shot or two here. I think that was a little bit premature. Hotarubi struggling with the destructible block there in the Three Musketeers room. Dancing around on top of it, using screw attack. Some nice ledge grabs from Hotarubi as well. And Bubble Mountain damage boost from Hotarubi, I like that one a lot. Not too hard to set up, but looks very impressive, and does save quite a bit of time to cross that gap there. And if you mess it up, it does cost you a fair bit of time, so it is a little bit risky. Keku making his way through the wasteland, playing it a little bit safer, not going for the damage boost, but instead killing the Disgigas. At this point, Hotarubi fairly commanding lead, like I said earlier. There's not too much that can go wrong for him. Another nice damage boost from Hotarubi in the Bubble Mountain room. He will have to make sure that he goes and fights Crocmire as well and picks up that grapple beam. This is one of the advantages to doing, well, probably the main advantage to doing this route is that you get to fight Crocmire late and kill him in one shot with Plasma Beam. So that's the payoff of this early ice late grapple strategy. And I like the strategy a lot from Hotarubi. Oh, unfortunately, not able to get it, but he was going for a super missile to get the cement Geemers, I don't know the name, to drop. Keku, go back for that missile. You can't miss that one. And he wants to get a damage boost from the Geemer into the next room as it falls. Not able to get it, unfortunately, and had to kill it. He's going to kill Crocmire in one shot. Yeah, I mean that's not really a fight. If early Crocmire route, it is definitely a fight, sort of. But Crocmire just takes damage every single frame when you have Plasma Beam. So going to meet this weird sweaty lizard and then pushing him straight to the acid. Hotarubi trying to get the spike suit here. What even is Crocmire? Oh, did Hotarubi get it? That looks like a spike suit to me. Honestly, Crocmire, one of the worst bosses. Not because it's difficult, but because of this. I mean, it's horrible. You push him into the lava, you see the flesh come off of his bones, and then his bones, you know, that fight haunts me. Every time I go into that room, I feel bad for what I've done. Anyways, let's talk about the run. Hotarubi, he's going to be going for the grapple beam now. Going for a nice little moonfall. Good strategy there. Oh, and he's going for the damage boost there as well. I don't think he got it. That's too bad. And unfortunately, dropping his spike suit just a little bit too early, so that's a shame. He wanted to carry that one all the way to X-Ray, and that would allow him to just cross that room very, very quickly. So he's going to have to go for the slow strategy on the way back, unfortunately. Nevertheless, he still does have a fairly commanding lead. If you're going for the early Croc route, in this room, this is one of the least fun rooms to play because you have to use Grapple Beam, and you have to go for you have to jump and grapple those Rippers. And it's really slow and really difficult, and if you mess it up, it costs you a lot of time. So this is another one of the advantages to taking this room. Nice damage boost from Keku in the Bubble Mountain room again. Hotarubi with another Shine Spark on his way up. Keku going for a nice little moonfall. Haven't seen that one before. That was actually really impressive to make it through the door transition as well. Oh, missing the super missile. Fortunately, his ammo, he can be a little bit trigger happy with super missiles here. It doesn't matter. Now Keku going in, killing the weird sweaty lizard. Don't know why he stopped there, but that'll take care of it. That's the end of Krogmire. Well, sort of. He'll be back. Very briefly. Keku going for the wraparound shot there as well. Can open the door from the other side of the room. Saves a bit of time, of course. He'll be going for that spike suit as well. He's got one more shot at it. Unfortunately missing it. Nice little spring ball momentum keep strategy there from Hotarubi going through the spacer room. And so here, in the room that Hotarubi's in, that's where he wanted to keep the spike suit so he could Shine Spark all the way across, but unfortunately dropping his spike suit just a little bit too early. Picking up X-Ray. Now this item here, in this category, I would say it's the worst item in the game. You already have, you know where all the items are if you're speedrunning this. Why do you need X-Ray? The problem with X-Ray is that when you are trying to select items and you navigate over to X-Ray, it kills all your momentum if you're running. It's just truly a terrible item, and no one should ever use it for any reason, unless you're going through walls. Makes item selection that much more difficult, and it's actually going to make things much more difficult for Hotarubi going into these Metroid rooms in Tourian, because he's going to have to alternate between item deselect and item selection to freeze the Metroids and then shoot them with super missiles. So it's a bit tricky. Hotarubi going for another short charge there. So that'll save him a bit of time as well. And a nice little mock ball from Hotarubi. That was nice. But you saw that X-Ray blocking his stopping his momentum, like I mentioned earlier. Worst item in the game. And dropping the power bomb in the perfect position. Hopefully. Let's see if he got it. And he did. So you'll notice that those blocks, all those blocks there are actually powerbomb blocks up until a certain height level. And he wants to keep the ones on the right not destroyed. So he has to drop the powerbomb in a perfect position there. So there's a setup that you can do that's a bit slower, but it'll get it every time. But Hotarubi, again, going for the risky strategies and just dropping the powerbomb where he thinks he'll get it. And actually getting it, no problem. So again, Hotarubi going for the risky strategies. Hotarubi making his way through the Billy Mays room now. Wrapping up his item collection here. He wants to grab a short charge here because he can carry it up this elevator and into the next room, and then use that Shine Spark to blast through the old Mother Brain room very quickly. It is faster to use a screw attack and just jump through there. It's also nearly impossible to do it effectively, so that's why the runners go for that strategy. Keku also getting the momentum keeping mock ball, or excuse me, spring ball strategy there. Very nicely done. And now Keku's going to be grabbing the X-ray scope as well. This next missile pack should be the last one for Hotarubi, the 230 missiles, otherwise known as the cavity missiles. Sometimes. Depends who you talk to. Or something about a demo plan, I'm not sure. But for Keku, those are actually going to be the 225 missiles. He's got to remember to go back for the gauntlet missiles. Those will be his 230 missiles. Hotarubi, nice little speedball there. Doesn't save a lot of time, but it's just these minor movement optimizations that these runners are good at add up over time. And now Hotarubi, he's got an opportunity. Well, they've got an opportunity to just take it easy. Just relax. Watch these statues blow up and then sink into the floor. Keku is going to be doing the cleanup here. Grabbing the... what do you call that tank? The energy tank, the last one. That one. And you see those blocks that Keku blew up. Unfortunately, it's going to make his entrance into the Billy Mays area a little bit more difficult because he has to line up the screw attack, the space jump there. And now Hotarubi, he's going to be entering one of the I would actually say this is probably the most difficult tank, or sorry, segment of the game. He's going to be doing the Metroids, doing them quickly, and this is where you see the item selection and the X-ray scope just giving him a little bit of trouble. This is what I was talking about. You got to use your item deselect here. And he's also going to watch his super missile tank or super missile count if he wants to do a very fast mother brain fight, or depending on what kind of zep skip strategy he wants to go for. He'll have enough missiles, but so he'll be able to finish the game. But it is faster if you can manage your super missile account to have 9 when you enter the mother brain fight, and he's only got 6, so he's going to have to use mostly missiles here. Hotarubi going to be going into the Metroid room. And he'll be going for the baby skip here. Metroid's supposed to grab you here, drain all your energy, almost kill you, and then you have to refill it later. But if you are fast, you can skip this whole cutscene. Hotarubi, oh, getting grabbed at the last second. The last jump, that's too bad. So this is another opportunity for Keku to make up some time against Hotarubi here. I think Hotarubi still has a definitely a commanding lead, so I don't think it's going to be enough. But it does slow Hotarubi down a little bit. He's going to have to go for that energy refill. Keku, he's got to remember to go back for those gauntlet missiles. Hotarubi coming up on the last section of the game. He's running out of super missiles, so he's got to consider his Zeb skip strategy here. We see him going for the down back, and that was incredible. That's an incredible Zeb skip from Hotarubi. Spectacular. The down back strategy is notoriously difficult for getting through the Zebatites there. There's other safer ways to do it where you freeze the Rinka and stand on it, and it just pushes you through the Zebatite. But doing it with the down back is, I would say, the hardest way to do it. Very nicely done from Hotarubi. Keku remembering to go back for the gauntlet missiles. Bit of a time loss, actually a big time loss, but definitely better than getting 99%. This is looking to be a pretty good time from Hotarubi here. And Hotarubi is going to be going for a trick here as well, called the stand-up glitch. Referred to the Kraid's second part of the fight as the stand-up glitch earlier, but this is the real stand-up glitch, where you want to have between 700 and 800 energy. Mother Brain will shoot you, like this, and then you run into her, you take damage as quickly as you possibly can, and for some reason, this causes her to not hit you again, so you can freely move around in this part of the game, where typically in any percent you would be locked to the floor. This lets you hit Mother Brain during the cutscene. He's got to be... there's some things that can go wrong here if you're not careful. If you're moving left and right when you get locked to the floor in certain frames, you'll just slide into Mother Brain and die, which is bad. So you got to be slightly careful here, but typically at this point nothing can really go wrong. The game can freeze at one point as well if you have a beam on screen when the cutscene transitions, but that's also pretty rare, and I mean, if you just aren't going for the most ridiculous fast strategies, you can avoid that as well. So Keku coming up in Tourian. Going to be going through the Metroids. Really nice Metroid 1 room from Keku. His super missile count is looking pretty good as well. Ooh, missing one. And skipping the drops. Hotarubi, yeah, finishing up the Mother Brain fight. This is it, really, to be totally honest. Unless Hotarubi saves the animals and dances around in the escape, there's nothing he can do at this point to lose the race. Unless he didn't get 100%, which, I mean, that would be a tragedy. But I think he got it all. Really nice first escape room there. Avoiding lag and getting rid of those gates with the hyper beam. So let's see if Keku can get this Metroid skip. And really nice blue bomber from Hotarubi as well, coming up on the escape. Playing it a little bit safe with the baby skip, and it looks like he gets it, so nicely done. Hotarubi going for the Behemoth part. We'll see what sort of Zeb skip strategy Keku will go through. And Hotarubi finishing with a a timer time of 1:21:56, but we got an SRL time of 1:22:01. Either way, that is a heck of a time. Again, Hotarubi, legend in the community, contributed so much to this speedrun community, to the roots, everything. But we just gotta wait for that 100% confirmation screen at the very end. Keku also going for the stand-up glitch. So you saw he didn't take as much damage as Hotarubi did in this part because he still has various suit equipped. Hotarubi would manage to turn it off earlier, which means he takes double damage from these Mother Brain beams. Hotarubi with what such an incredible time. Not sure what Hotarubi's personal best is. I don't think the speedrun.com leaderboards are necessarily accurate. So we'll hop on over to the Deer tier leaderboards, where it says he has a 123.34. So I think Hotarubi's got some nice personal bests. Just doesn't upload his times. Absolutely a very qualified runner, knows what he's doing. Keku, you know, also a very qualified runner, very, very skilled. Been playing this game for a very long time. One of the organizers of the tournament, and very active in the community as well. So we got two pillars of the community here. And we're just going to see Keku wrapping up this Mother Brain fight here. So this should be a 126 something from Keku, which is still a pretty respectable time. Kekumanshoyu going for the blue bomber, nicely done. Now the moment of truth for Hotarubi. Did he get 100%? Nice moonfall from Keku, going through the escape. Let's see. It's 100%. That's gonna do it. That means Hotarubi is the winner of this race. Very nicely done. So we're just gonna wait for Keku to wrap up his run. That's going to do it for Kekumanshoyu. 126.20 in the Speedrun Live channel. Yeah, so that looks like it's that's gonna do it for this race. Hotarubi is your winner, and we got some other races coming down the SpeedGaming pipeline. We got Later on today, 1 p.m. EDT, we got Shiny Zenny versus Toasty. Don't want to miss that one. And 8 p.m., we've got Nevdi and versus Kip, and Andrew versus Apathy Duck. That's going to be a good one as well. We got a four-way, well, it's two-way races, so kind of a four-way race. Also at 8 p.m., we got Zeb 316 versus Richmond. So you got two choices of races at 8 p.m. if you want, and then you got another one at 10 p.m. Kaznos versus Zost. And in the channel, I'm actually joined by kekumanshoyu. What's going on, man? How was the race?
Horrible. I did horrible. I did not like there was so many mistakes that I did, but it's okay. It's fine.
I would say 126.17 is still a perfectly respectable time. Nevertheless, coming up against hotarubi, you got that's a tough race to win for sure.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised how what's it called? How close I was in the beginnings until Creed. So at least I have that. So that was nice.
Yeah, I think you were actually ahead until you unfortunately missed the Crate quick kill. So that was a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like I really don't. Like you know when you practice a lot and all of a sudden their nerves just get to you. That is probably what had happened.
Oh, yes, I'm very familiar with that. Yeah, and I saw a bit of an unfortunate movement with the ice clip as well, getting into spring ball. So that was a bit of a shame. But otherwise, I thought it was a pretty solid run.
Yeah, I pulled off some things like at least I got the blue bomber at the end, so I had that. I have that going for me. If hotarubi can do it, I can do it.
I mean, the bar's set pretty high when you say stuff like that.
I know, right? I know. But like I'm not. I still have my goal for 100%. Like I just joined this tournament because I haven't done a tournament in so long. Like the last tournament I've done was almost 2 years ago. And the reason why, because 2 years ago, because my daughter was born 2 years ago. So yeah,
that's a bit more important than tournaments and speedrunning. So
yeah, true. You know, I really wanted that money. No, just kidding. I don't. I'm
what's your goal for 100% then?
Actually, sub 120. Like I even before the tournament started, I really wanted to get a sub 120, and then all of a sudden, it was announced during the GDQ. I was like, oh, what? What a coincidence!
Yeah, that's how I found out about it as well. Is your PV still about a 124 with this category?
No, 122.
122. So 120 is just around the corner for you then.
You gotta look on Deer Tier. I think I updated there. But I mean, like to be honest, this whole race, like I am really honored to race hotarubi. Even though I felt weird that I did because of the last race that I did. You know what happened? I died, and then my opponent died out later, and then I won the race, and I felt like it was. I don't know. I felt like it wasn't all too deserving, but you know anything can happen with these tournaments and stuff. But as I was saying, though, I'm very honored to face hotarubi because he is the legend. You know, he's the godfather of Super Metroid speedruns. I wish she could interview him too, but he's like he said. In the IRC, he said he can't speak any English, I guess, and no mic, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean it's too bad, but at least we got you in here. So,
do you know how to speak Japanese?
No.
Oh, okay.
I went to Japan once, and I can say, was it? Actually, no, I've forgotten all my Japanese, so no.
I can speak some, but then like I wouldn't be able to like really. I only can hold like a small conversation with probably with hotarubi. But I don't. Yeah. I'm glad to have raced him, and I'm glad that this tournament is going on. And I wish good luck to hotarubi and all the other runners. Let's see really quick. before I head out. You already mentioned the racers, right? The races coming up.
Yep, we got plenty coming up today, so I already talked about that.
Yeah, so we got 4 more races. Well, 5 races technically, because the two of the races are at the same time. Probably going to be on the same channel. And what's it called? Seems that's it for this. That'll be it for this round, actually. And then the next round is looking very, very, very good. Like I'm excited to see a lot of the runs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think the structure of the tournament makes for some very good viewing. I mean, the races at the start are close, and as the tournament's going on, I mean, you just get such a high quality of runners and high quality of races. So I think, like I said, it makes for some really good viewing here.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we should probably wrap this up here pretty quick.
Yep. Thank you so much, Christopolo. I know you were this is fairly early for you, maybe.
No, I'm in EU. It's afternoon here.
I think it's fairly afternoonish for you there. But thank you so much for commentating, and if you guys aren't following hotarubi, please do. It's here, and then yeah. I think that's it. Please check out the rest of the tournament. The YouTube will have the VODs and stuff, so check that out over there. And thanks everybody.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to commentate. So always
I miss you, Christopher.
Well, I'm back. I missed you too. I'm back. Hopefully, a little bit more permanently now. So so that's gonna do it. All
right, send us off.
I guess. Yeah. What is it? How do we send it? This weekend, to all my fellow Canadians, happy Thanksgiving, and for everyone else, see you guys next mission.
Bye, everybody.